Welcome into Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps here for our Week 8 preview show for South Carolina high school football. John, hard to believe we're already 8 weeks, I guess technically 9 weeks into the season now. Season's winding down. We got a lot of big games still on the horizon. This week, you got a few really, really nice ones. After that, maybe it drops off a little bit, but a lot of games that will be important for seeding, of course, but as always, it will be a super fun Friday night here in Palmetto State.
Yeah, a lot of what this week's going to be, there's not a lot of games where we're at that point in the season where we think we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We know who should win games, who should really be in the driver's seat of particular regions if they're not already. But like we see every single week, that doesn't always go according to plan. Somebody's going to lose a game that we didn't think was going to lose, and somebody's going to get a big win, and we didn't think he's going to get a big win. Tell you what, I know you and Drill had a good time on Sunday talking about what happened Friday. There was a lot of talking about getting some beatdowns that I did not expect.
Some major action in Week 7 for sure. But if you guys are just tuning in for the first time, we really appreciate you. Like this video, share it, tell your friends, comment, ask about your favorite team. Give us your thoughts on the ball games. Love to have you guys in here with us. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter /X, Instagram, YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains, MOVINCHAINS. Website, movingchains.com. Podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. We do our live preview show here on 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, on Facebook and YouTube. Our recap show comes out on Sunday on the podcast platforms. We do our Twitter X Spaces, basically a scoreboard show on Friday nights about 10:30, 11 over on Twitter. It's a lot of fun to have you guys a part of as well. But, John, let's start here. Before we do that, merch plug. The guys got merch. Get some merch. I tell you what, we're almost sold out of the toboggans already. If you want one of these, we got the gray, we got the black. Get yours now. Email mtcgear.sc@gmail.com. Photos on our Facebook, our Twitter, Instagram. Check out all the merch there. We have hoodies as well. Lots of great hat designs. Richardson, all color styles. Upong, some really good stuff, really quality stuff. So check it out. Help us out. Love to have you guys repping the Moving the Chains gear across the state. But now let's get going here, John. Our games of the week brought to you by CONA, CONA.care to find out more. Our first one here, maybe the biggest win in the state last week for this team, John, and that's White Knoll. They're at 7-0. They're traveling to Lexington, who's at 6-1. The Timberwolves knocked off Dutch Fork last week, 17-14. Big-time win for Coach Pelham's squad. Lexington, they won 35-21 over River Bluff, their long losses to Gilbert a few weeks back. This is a game where, looking at it, two teams both really good records. I feel like White Knoll's 7-0 is a little bit more impressive because they played a few, better teams. I feel like obviously that win last week has a lot of weight it carries, I think, across the state. Lexington haven't played a ton of competition, the tough guys it seems like, but what do you like here? Can White Knoll keep it rolling? Does Lexington kind of sneak up on them this week? What do you think happens in this ball game?
Yeah, I think White Knoll, you've been big on the Timberwolves last few weeks, and they proved it last week. We know they've been playing pretty good defense, and they proved that again on Friday against Dutch Fork. But yeah, they've got two great things. They got a really good defense, and they got solid quarterback play.
Yes.
Landon Sharp at quarterback has been playing very, very well for them. And that is, boy, if you can check both of those boxes, you're going to win a lot of games, and you can be very, very relevant in the playoff scene. Lexington's very good. Love what Coach Curtis does. But I think this White Knoll team, and kind of what I thought about, just a moment ago, White Knoll should win this game. They should, in my opinion, take control of this region, really put a lock on it if they can win Friday on this matchup against the Wildcats. I think they're a little bit better, and they proved they're pretty good, because we just talked about Dutch Fork, where hey, you look at their record, they lost some games. It's not the typical Silver Fox program that we have been used to seeing, but they're still going to be a tough out come November and once we come by playoffs. But Dion, I think you're right. I think they win by 10. It may even be more than that. I think White Knoll's definitely a better team here.
You mentioned it, John. White Knoll led by quarterback Landon Sharp, 2 TD passes last week. Also ran the ball well. Running back Tyon Fanning's a threat. They're running it. The defense is really, really good. A really good linebacker core led by Jaden Kimball, Domenico Banks. Also Dominic on that side of the ball is a stud for them. Coach Pelham is a Tom Knott's disciple, a defensive guy, hard-nosed guy, physical guy. I love what I saw from them last week. Obviously, the win is just huge. But the fact that they had, a 10-0 lead, Dutch Fork comes back to retake the lead 14-10 in the third quarter. White Knoll answered right back, touchdown 17-14. They win that ball game. Huge to see them respond to some adversity in that game, I felt like. My only worry for them is it a letdown spot? Can you get up another week after, such a big win last week? I think they can under Coach Pelham, but we shall see. Lexington, led by quarterback Taden Mines, Morris and Suborowski running the ball for them. Wide receiver Brandon Cromer's a threat. Tight end Cam Sutton is a really good player. They're big and physical, of course. That's what, Coach Curtis preaches there. They're going to run the ball, going to play strong defense there. Defensively, a really good linebacker core as well for them. Christian Sexton is a stud there. I think White Knoll, a few too many weapons on offense. I think they're averaging 44 points a game, only giving up 7. I think they can score. I think they throw it around a little bit more than last week. I think the Timberwolves win this ball game.
I think so too.
Drill, any comments on that? We need to check out on the White Knoll Lexington ball game.
Got all the comments there, but let's go ahead and give the shout-outs, the weekly shout-outs.
One last thing, that ball game last year, Lexington won 36-33 in overtime. So crazy to see if we get one close to that again this week. Zach said, good evening, boys. Kev, you know how loud you were yelling. Australia went yard last night. Yeah, it was a huge home run. I was at the Braves game last night. I honestly didn't think he got all of it when he first hit it, but he kept carrying, man. Place went nuts. Game Atlanta had to have. Big win. Dion, good to have you in here, man. Appreciate you. Corey. Yeah, Quashid Scott, offered from South Carolina yesterday. Big news for him, the local kid. Great to see that. Derek, glad to have you in here as always, my man. Chris, good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you hopping in with us. The Indians are winning a big win in region last week over Spartanburg. Had to have it. Of course, as Dylan Manning should be a good game. Yeah, I think so too. Manning's a kind of underrated program, but they are a good football team. Jay, good seeing you, man. Brad, what's going on, man? Good to have you in here as always. Louisville, Dadrian, you're back. A week off last week. You guys are back this week. I'm sure you'll be rolling again. Robert, good to have you in here. Appreciate you, man. Having a good day. Hope you are as well. Tay says, go Rebs. Huge win last Friday night in week 7 for the Rebels, man. They are rolling right now. I love it, Dadrian. Come on, man. Love it. Boss, man, good to have you in here as always.
That's it for right now. Let's keep rolling, guys.
Love it. Let's take a look now at our second CONA game of the week. A 2A matchup here. Another matchup where we've only got one combined loss between the two schools. We've got Woodland at 6-0, traveling to the newly formed Hampton County at 7-1. Last year, Woodland won this game over Wade Hampton, 21-14. Obviously, Wade Hampton now combined with Estill to form Hampton County here. Woodland last week, they defeated Ridgeland Hardyville 41-12, averaging 38 on offense, giving up 15 on defense. Hampton County, they smoked Edisto 54-0. Averaging 33 on offense, just under 10 per game on defense. Talking about Woodland, John. Transfer quarterback Cooper Glaze. They do mix in a little bit of Gervais Sally as well. The running back TJ Wright, he's a stud, a really good player for them. Everybody knows offensive lineman Cam Pringle, the South Carolina commit. He's a 4 or 5 star, depending on where you look. I think he's a big guy there on that offensive and defensive line for those guys. And Coach Burnett does a really good job of kind of mixing up the formations, getting some numbers mismatches to kind of get TJ Wright going there in the formations and getting him some big runs there for the Wolverines. Hampton County, led by Zion Dobson, $148, two touchdowns last week. Quarterback Chris Terry doesn't throw it a lot. They're really a run-first offense. Defensively, Kayvon Chisholm, Mandrell Sanders, Malachi Green, and James Dunham lead that side of the ball. These are two teams that, I like Hampton County a lot. They've been in my top 5 almost every week, I think, John. Woodland, I feel like we still don't know a ton about this late in the season, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, a little bit. We're going to find out Friday.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where I think they're pretty evenly matched. I think Hampton County's still the better team. You talk about Dobson. He's had a great year. I think he's averaging over 10 yards a carry.
Yeah.
The guy's absolutely killing it every Friday night out there. And we know that, hey, this is a new school in Hampton County, but it's the same kids that have been really, really good coming together. With was it Estill and Wade Hampton coming together. I like Wade Hampton a little bit in this game. And where is this one?
It's at Hampton County.
At Hampton County, too. I think that's a big deal. I think Woodland's very good. And when you got a guy like Pringle on the line, in the trenches, talk about how important that is at every level of football. That cannot go unnoticed. That you got to account for that somehow, some way. I like Hampton County in this game. I still think Hampton County, it's a team we haven't talked about a ton.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a major factor in 2A. We'll get to our polls a little bit later. We'll see where they fall, if they're in the poll at all.
Very true. Woodland defensively, they play a lot of man-to-man, which I don't know if that really matters this week because Hampton County doesn't want to throw it. They want to run the ball, pound you up front with Dobson, then mix in some Chisholm and Terry as well. I like Hampton County a lot. I think they're a good football team. I think for Woodland to win this game, they got to get TJ Wright going. Of course, he has to have a big game. But I think Coach Hanna and the Hurricanes playing really good football at home. I think they win this one.
I do too. I like Hampton County here.
Perfect. Any comments, Strell, on this 2A matchup?
Let's see. We got nothing specific, but let's go ahead and got some more shout outs here. So we got to get these out.
Patrick, good seeing you, buddy. Appreciate you being in here. Big deal about 2 TDs. That'll be a fun game, Robert. It will be against Manning the Monarchs.
All right.
Justin, glad to have you from Latham. Big ball game against Lakeview. We'll break that down in a little bit. Demetrius, Hillcrest tough one this week for sure. That's one of our games of the week we'll get to here in a minute. Chris is looking for Leesville for a 2-game win streak. Okay, I like it. They played tough against Silver Bluff last week.
They did.
John.
They played
tough.
much better than I expected they would.
Perfect. Marion, Hampton County in the playoffs. That will be a
Most
fun
likely.
matchup. Lower state 2A, I feel like doesn't have as many top-level teams as Upper State will, just the way the brackets fall. But, you're going to have Oceanside, you're going to have Marion, you're going to have Hampton County, Woodland. There's still some solid
really
teams
good
down there.
teams in there.
For sure.
Let's roll the next game, guys.
Our next CONA game of the week, a Region 6 4A matchup. Another game, we got one combined loss, John, and that's Myrtle Beach, the Seahawks at 6-1, traveling to South Florence, who is at 7-0. The Seahawks have rattled off 6 in a row after that week 0 loss to Camden. South Florence has now won, 22 in a row, dating back to the start of last year. Undefeated last year, win the state title 7 in a row to start this year. Last year, the Bruins won this ballgame 56-21. Last week, Myrtle Beach defeated Hartsville 24-21. South Florence defeated Wilson 51-14. John, I've been hyping Myrtle Beach. You've been getting on that train too lately. They're playing a lot better football. Are they playing good enough to upset a Bruins team at home?
No, I don't think so. But they are playing really, really good.
Yeah.
I got burned by them when Corey, when I thought Marion was going to beat Myrtle Beach. And then when they blew that game open, that's when I started to turn, okay, all right, maybe Kevin's right here. Maybe Myrtle Beach is actually pretty good. That Camden loss really stung.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really bad loss. But again, they have bounced back and they have responded very, very well to not lose another game since then. And very impressive to beat Hartsville last week.
Yeah.
And I don't think Hartsville probably wasn't 100%.
Right.
I imagine Carmelo did not play, Carmelo McDaniel. But even still, Hartsville is still a really, really good football team. And they can play some ball. So to win that game, that really puts it on the map because it wasn't, hey, they beat a really good 2A team in Marion.
Yep.
No, they beat somebody in the region that's very, very good. One of the best teams in the state, in my opinion. So Myrtle Beach, I know they're in the Prep Media top 10 poll now this week. That's well deserved. And gosh, maybe Myrtle Beach just doesn't need to play Camden anymore.
That might be it.
That might be what we
just a bad matchup for Coach Wilson's squad there.
I like South Florence this game. I still think for me 4A, South Florence is the best team in Lower State, and I think Myrtle Beach keeps it competitive. I think it's probably a better game than what we saw last year.
Yeah,
but that South Florence team is so good. I want to point out, I was looking through some of the stats today. I saw Quincy Rhodes
stud,
got a handful of interceptions. But that guy, where Quincy Rhodes is a real problem is when the ball comes off someone's foot and it's a punt or a kickoff. That's when he becomes a real issue. He's a fun player to watch.
South Florence quarterback Brian McCart, not asked to do a lot yet. John, even the game they showed against Hartsville, I think had under 100 passing yards. Just hasn't had to throw it much. They hadn't had a team that's forced him to do that. Running back Zion Gilbert, 100+ a game. Running back Riley Jett as well. Tight end Rodney Zane. Cyree Livingston out wide's a playmaker. Jaden Sellers as well, kind of playing some wildcats, running backs, and receiver, whatever, getting the ball in his hands however they can. We look at the defense. It's so legit, man. Guys, Quincy Rhodes, you mentioned him. Shantuan Harkless, Derek Goodman, Amari Adams, Kamate Rose, Terry Gordon, Makai Matthews. They now have, listen to this, guys, 7 straight games, defensive touchdown. 7 straight games, defensive touchdown. Unbelievable, man. These are like high-power team to play. They play South Point already. They played some really good football teams. Oceanside, they keep finding a way to get in the end zone on the defensive side of the ball, which is really cool to see there for them. Myrtle Beach, led by Malachi Washington, quarterback Gibson Goodrow, John Simmons on offense, Shrine Bowler, Brady Pickett up front. Ricky Escobar at linebacker is a good player for them. I keep harping this point, but the Goodrow kid for them is going to get better and better. You know, he had not played quarterback in a game ever until this year, becoming more and more comfortable. I love Malachi Washington. He's a stud there at running back for them. And they're good on special teams, too. I think they blocked a couple punts. Maybe against Camden, they blocked one. They blocked one against Marion as well. Watch out for that. If Myrtle Beach will pull the upset, they're going to have some kind of big special teams play. And it could be a block punt, could be a return, whatever it is. I'm leaning South Florence as well. Just too much firepower, plus being at home. But Myrtle Beach keeps finding a way to win. You know, last week, come back from behind to beat Hartsville. The week before, come back from behind, throw a Hail Mary to beat West Florence.
That was wild.
I mean, they could certainly do it. I love Myrtle Beach, but I'm picking South Florence in this ballgame.
Yeah, I like South Florence. And you talk about, if you want to talk about weakness for the Bruins, well, it's not the defense. It's not the running game. Those guys, Jet and
Gilbert.
I mean, they are, Jet's a little quicker, a little shiftier, and I can't.
Gilbert.
Mine is gone. Zion Gilbert. Really pounds it. So you would say, hey, the passing game is the weakness, but the way that they draw up the offense, the offensive scheme and play calling they have, they make it to where McCarty, he doesn't have to do anything special. They don't put themselves in a 3rd and 15 where he's got to chuck the ball down the field 20 yards to keep a drive going. It's, we're talking about, we got a tight end coming off the line, wide open across the middle where you only see that play run once or twice during the game. And that one time they run it, he's going to be wide open. They do a great job of just not making him do a ton.
Yeah.
And he does great. We hear it at the college level all the time, like, oh, this guy's a game manager. Well, he's pretty doggone good. There's some guys that have run through UGA that have been pretty doggone good game managers. It's who you're around, and it's the coaching that gets it done sometimes too. And don't make it any harder on yourself than you have to.
Yeah, two great staffs here. Coach Marlowe at South Florence, Coach Wilson at Myrtle Beach have been doing it for a while. They do a great job. Drill. Any comments on this ballgame? I'm sure we got something popping off in the chat.
Yeah, I think Corey's the only one that's going with Myrtle Beach in the upset here.
I like it.
Yeah, a couple guys, South Florence by 14, by 21. A couple picks there from the crowd. Pirelli says they're unbeatable. Hey, they're good. I don't know if that's the case, but they are good for sure. Northwestern will have something for them for sure. There's a couple more. I think you can give them a chance. That's
exactly what I was thinking, Patrick.
Dion says South Florence by 10.
That'd be a good game.
Jay says South outside. Yeah, I knew Sellers was banged up. I didn't know for sure that he's out. So if he is out, that is a big loss for those guys for sure.
He might still be hurt from that Hartsville game. He went out early in.
Yep. Ryan says Malachi's a stud. South Florence defense too much. Yeah, I think that's just a little too much firepower on both sides of the ball there for the Bruins.
We got Derek in here. Wanted to say hi to you guys.
Yeah, good seeing you, man. Lakeview lad, that's a big one. We'll break that down here in a little bit. That's a huge game between the Gators and the Vikings. Torches Hillcrest Hanna. That one's coming up just in a second here, Tori.
That's it. Let's go to the next one.
Perfect. Our fourth CONA game of the week. The game Tori just referenced. TL Hanna at Hillcrest. Another game, one combined loss between the two teams here. TL Hanna at 7-1. The Rams of Hillcrest at 7-0. Last season, TL Hanna won this ballgame 14-13. Last week, TL Hanna wins a big ballgame over JL Man, 58-35. One of our games week last week. Hillcrest, they win a close one over Woodmont, 17-13, I believe it was. No, 17-12, over Woodmont there. TL Hanna, running back KD Patterson, one of our players of the week, went 222 on 19 carries for 6 touchdowns. Bashawn Burton, Wills Epps, also threats carrying the ball there. Quarterback Eli Hollinger's the trigger man. Dalen Williams leads that defense. Hillcrest, a lot of names, a lot of studs out there, of course. Caleb Sutton at quarterback. Thomas Stanley running back. Wide receiver athlete Avery McFadden. The new Georgia State commit Avery McFadden there, touching the ball all different ways there for the Rams. Defensively, Tyson Moses, DJ Henderson, those guys there. Everybody talks about the offense. And we do the same thing. A lot of playmakers there. But the defense, John, only allowing 11 points per game. This is going to be a fun ball game on Friday night at Chandler Stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. And I think I'm going to ignore what I've seen this season and just the talent. I'm just going to go with what I think happens with this TL Hanna program year after year. It's a game kind of like this, or at least for me, where I go, they're probably not the better team in this game. They're on the road. They've got the one loss against Westside, which I still haven't been able to figure out how that happened. But I think this is one of those games where, you either chalk it up to go, well, TL Hanna played really well, or boy, I guess, Hillcrest just didn't have their best game.
Mm-hmm.
I think TL Hanna finds a way to win this game. And part of it is, I think Hillcrest is very, very good, but there's been a few games this year where they haven't played 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Something, and it's typically been this year, the offense just wasn't quite clicking as much as you'd like to see them do. And I think could be one of those games where, they're probably not going to get as many possessions as you would in a normal ball game. Maybe it's 1 or 2 less. Who knows what that number is? But if you're sputtering a little bit on offense, they kind of did it last week against Woodmont too. That could be the difference where, TL Hanna, comes out on top in this game because of that. And I think that's going to be a big reason. For me, I like the Yellow Jackets in this ball game. I think they'll be able to play pretty good defense against Hillcrest and keep them within a range to where TL Hanna can score enough to win the game.
I saw a great stat from our guy Jeff Schmalk on Twitter. The last 6 meetings of this ball game have gone back and forth. TL Hanna, Hillcrest, TL Hanna, Hillcrest. If that holds true, it's Hillcrest's turn, John. We'll see. We'll see. But this is a game I think that we've seen a lot the last few years as well, because it's always a big one up here. We talk about how tough it is to play against a triple option attack like TL Hanna. But Hillcrest does get to face them every year, which certainly helps out. You get a little more familiarity, of course. You kind of understand what you're looking for on your keys and whatnot. You can coach a little bit better on that side. I do worry, about the Hillcrest offense sometimes. Have had a couple, slow games, of course. But TL Hanna's defense is that I wouldn't say the best we've seen either.
No.
35 last week to jail man. West Side, big game against them. Greenville put up some points early in the season. I think Hillcrest can score. And I think it comes down to a special teams play. And I love McFadden, the return game, punt return, kickoff return, whatever. Very, very dangerous. I think a big return from Avery. I think the Rams win this ball game, a close one at Chandler Stadium. This will be a fun one for sure on Friday night.
Yeah, I tell you what, and if you're TL Hanna and this game is really, really close in the fourth quarter, as we expect it will be, maybe just don't kick it to McFadden. Maybe you accidentally put that ball out of bounds. Or we got TL Hanna plays too. If they're on the Hillcrest 40-yard line and it's 4th and 5, they're probably gonna go for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I tell you what, that's I'd rather do that, take my chances on a 4th and 5 at the 40 than put the ball in McFadden's hands and see him get loose.
For sure. Should be a fun one on Friday night. Drill, any comments on that ball game? TL Hanna, Hillcrest have playoff film collections. Yes, honestly, probably the winner of this game in the driver's seat for the region. If Hillcrest beats Hanna, JL does have a chance where if they can beat Hillcrest and create a 3-way tie there. But if TL Hanna wins it, they're basically locked in the 1 seed pretty much at that point. But whoever wins this ball game certainly in the driver's seat. Demetrius says Rams by 7. That sounds right. Demetrius, best of luck this week, man. Defense is playing awesome right now for that guy. Like I said, 11 points per game right now against some good offenses too. Clover held him, I think, to 7 earlier in the year. Woodmont, he's scoring a lot, held him to 12. Playing good there. Brad says Hillcrest by 14. Dion says Hillcrest by 3. Anything else, Drill?
I could make up some ground on the pick 'em. Ooh, Hanna by 50.
Hanna by 50. What? That would be a shock, Chris. I tell you what, they win by 50. That's already our team of the week right there. Antoine says number 9 from Hannah's a dude. Yeah, Katie Patterson, huge game last week. One of our players of the week had a huge, huge game. Hanna by Chris, or Hanna by 6, Chris says.
It goes down the books as a W either way.
Love it. Anything else,
just for later in the show, we got to.
What about Barnwell? Kurt, appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, Barnwell, they're starting to turn it up a little bit. Region play is here now for Coach Smith and those guys. We'll break down that one in the 2A section here in a little bit of the program.
Guys need to stop hating on Gilbert America.
Hey, we love Gilbert. Had a great time down there. Yeah, 3A is just so deep, man. We'll see if they enter the rankings this week, but 3A is a really deep classification for sure.
Yeah, it's very good.
And I gotta say, Derek, man, it's really tough keeping these guys in line. Appreciate you tuning in each and every week. I don't know why you've been doing it for so long, but we appreciate you. All right, guys, let's keep rolling.
Love it. Looking now at our SCISA CONA game of the week. Dorchester Academy at Clarendon Hall. Clarendon Hall 40-24 last year in this ball game. Last week, Dorchester Academy knocked off previously unbeaten Patrick Henry, 30-23. First-year head coach Michael Nelson coming over from Holly Hill John Wetzel, 79 rush yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 catches, another touchdown for them. Connor Hartzog went for 139. Quarterback Wathan Gruber ran for 120. They averaged 285 on the ground, John. Pretty solid there for the Raiders. Clarendon Hall, 54-0 over Cross Episcopal. Their only loss is to that Patrick Henry team, allowing 11 points per game on defense. Running back Darius Aikens, a playmaker. Senior quarterback Brock Mathis. Defensively, Griffin McIntosh, Mathis, and Atkinson lead that ball game. Can Dorchester put together 2 big wins in a row, John, or can Clarendon Hall get the big dub?
I'm going to go Dorchester.
Okay. They're rolling. Dorchester. They lost early in the year to a good Thomas Hayward team, a good Branchville public school squad as well. Play really good since then, it feels like. Let's see here. Who do I want to take? Dorchester last week, good against the run, struggles against the pass. Clarendon Hall wants to run it with Darius Aiken. I'm going to take Dorchester on the road. I like Coach Nelson, knows how to win there. Won a lot of state titles there at Holly Hill. I think they get this win. Drew, any other comments from the chat about anything before we move into the statewide scoreboard?
We've got Kevron in here. Always good to have him.
Kevron, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here with us. Torrey says Rams by 14. DJ Henderson, big game. I like that.
Got to talk about BHP.
The BHP Bears. Talk them in 3 here in the second quarter. We will certainly do that.
And also later, another team we got to talk about, man, West Side.
Yeah, Kansas. Yeah, those boys are slinging. They got a big game against Greenwood this week, I believe. West Side is all over the yard, throwing the ball, doing a great job right now.
You sleep on them, you wake up, they got 50 on the board.
Big Bluff, nice win last week. Saluted. This week will be a fun one for sure for Silver Bluff.
Peaking at a good time.
Right now. That's all we got right now, guys.
Perfect. Just give a quick shout out to our friends of the program.
Take your financial game to the next level with Founders Federal Credit Union. Reach your full potential. Relax. Join Founders today. Visit an office near you or relaxjoinfounders.com to apply. Federally insured by NCUA, member qualification required.
Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates, CONA, offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville. Go to CONA.care to learn more.
Okay, let's take a look now, John, starting at the 5A slate here in Week 8.
We've got some firepower here. Berkeley will go to Ashley Ridge.
This is one of our pick'em games. This is a fun one here. Ashley Ridge, Derek Sally Jr. is a stud. Player of the week for us this week. Coach Jeff Tate's doing a great job there with Swamp Foxes. Berkeley keeps improving. They keep winning ball games. Big win over Wando last week. Coach Lodge in his first year got those guys playing good football. Their freshman quarterback Henry Rivers slinging it everywhere. Caden Bash as well getting it done there. This will be a tough matchup here. I honestly don't know who I like in this one. I think we could see a lot of points in this ball game for sure.
I like Ashley Ridge, but like Berkeley's been doing all year, they're making teams earn it. They play some teams that are pretty good.
Yeah,
they gotta make them, or they will make them earn it. But I think Ashley Ridge comes out on top here. Dorman will be at Burns.
Usually a much more anticipated ball game than this year. I mean, it's still a big one because of the rivalry, because it's a Region 2 5A matchup. But Dorman, they're not as good as they usually are. I mean, you got to be frank about it, John. They're just not. Burns playing good football. They do have a little bit of an injury bug right now, though. I know Livingston was out winning last week. I believe Bomar got hurt in the ball game last week. I think – actually, I don't know. I don't know what his situation is. I don't want to say. I don't want to speculate. Chris says Burns rolls.
They should.
Burns, yeah, certainly playing better football, more talented right now. You do worry, in this region, anybody can sneak up and beat anybody. I like Burns as well, but always a fun matchup. Dion's going through the upset with Dorman. Okay, Dion, I hear you.
Burns, you got to come out ready to play.
Yeah.
If they come out and sleepwalk, this could be a fourth quarter game that could go either way. Burns, they don't need to be doing that. But if they come out and play, I don't think they'll have much of a problem. Goose Creek will be at Cane Bay. Carolina Forest hosting Sumter.
Probably region title in line in that ball game. Sumter, they still worry me at times. They don't have that explosiveness that I'd like to see out of them on offense. Carolina Forest, running back Khalil Johnson, huge game last week for them. He can get down on the ground. I think that Sumter defense is a little too much. I think they win this ball game, but it's going to be a close one. I think Carolina Forest.
I'm going to take the Panthers.
I like it. Actually,
I know it's a bit of an upset, but I'm going to take the Panthers.
I think that's a good pick. I kind of want to switch, but I'm not going to.
Dutch Fork will go to Chapin.
Dutch Fork needs a win bad. John Hunt's back at quarterback. That's good for them. Didn't play great last week, but obviously had not played in a while, of course. They got to win this game. You still want to get that second or third seed in your region, so that they need this ball game. Chapin had a nice run earlier in the year, kind of falling off a little bit now, but I like Dutch Fork to bounce back.
Blythewood will go to Clover. Boiling Springs will go to Gaffney.
2 big games in a row. Blythewood, Clover, maybe for the region title. I know Blythewood got upset last week at Station 4. Kind of surprised me there. Clover playing great football. I think they win this one. Boiling Springs, Gaffney. Boiling Springs, they've got to find a way to win a game so they can make the playoffs. I don't think it's this week. They did play much better last week against Burns. Gaffney, though, I think Gaffney's got it figured out right now, playing good offensively and defensively. Jay McDowell doing a great job there, catching the ball and rushing the ball. Staten's getting more and more comfortable there. We know the defense is tough. I think Gaffney wins this game at home.
Yeah, I think that front seven is going to be giving Boiling Springs a lot of problems. I think that's what the difference is in this ball game. As we talk about one of our CONA games of the week, TL Hanna at Hillcrest. Malden will go to JL Mann. White Knoll is at Lexington, also one of our CONA games of the week. Nation Ford will be at Rock Hill. Conway goes to Socastee. Spring Valley hosting Fort Mill. Fort Dorchester goes to RB Stall. Stratford at Wando. And West Ashley hosting number 1 Somerville.
Somerville, man, playing great football right now. That offense will get a little bit of a test against West Ashley. Not much, I think, but I think the Green Wave are legit, man. Can't wait for that Fort D matchup here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Corey says Somerville to win state. They certainly could, man. They're playing great football right now, but a lot of good teams in 5A, I feel like. Yeah, Chris, if Burns plays like last week, they will have a tough time, but hopefully they can get it going. Nathan says Burns double team that Dorman just beat. Yeah, exactly right. And especially that region too, man. Anything can happen. I think Burns will come back a little better, but we'll see. Chris says Chapin by 3. That would be a surprise if we see Dutch Fork lose a couple in a row in region. Will be a shock after winning 32 in a row in region. If they lose back to back, that would be a surprise. I think Dutch Fork wins that one.
I think that game could be close though.
Oh, Friday the 13th. That is right. Great point. Week 8, Friday the 13th. Never know what we might see in these ball games, John. Anything else, Trail, before we move into 4A?
Yeah, but I got a quick shout out. We got to shout out Kurt and Tony here. This is pretty cool to see.
Appreciate you, Kurt.
Very nice.
We like to say we're nationwide. Certainly, sitting in Oklahoma, listening to us. Yeah, definitely. We'll give Barnwell some love here in a little bit. You know, Barnwell. Coach Smith's a great football coach. Those guys are getting better and better. Had a couple of bumps early in the season. You know, your grandson Cam Austin's a stud there at quarterback. I love what he's doing, running and throwing the ball. The problem, didn't have much of a run game to go with him earlier in the year. I think they're kind of trying to get that figured out. They can beat them both. Will they? I don't know. It's going to be very tough. Those are 2 good football teams there. But Barnwell always a team that you got to look out for in the playoffs.
You know, and I wouldn't be horribly surprised if they split those 2 games. You know, that would be a good split. That'd be really good to go 1-1 in those 2 games.
Yeah, let's roll to 4A. Hey, Courtney, I promise you we're going to get to BHP and 3A here in a little bit.
For sure. Let's look now down at 4A, John.
At 4A, Midland Valley continues to roll. They will be at Aiken this week, easily hosting Berea. Lucy Beckham getting really hot at a good time. They'll go to Hilton Head. South Point's at Indian Land. AC Flora goes to Irmo. 2
games there. AC Flora, Irmo. AC Flora falling off a cliff lately. Have not been playing well, giving up 70 to Richmond Northeast last week, John. Hard to think there that was going to happen. And then that South Point Indian Land game. South Point played a close one with Lancaster, a 3-point ball game last week. Indian Land is not a bad football team. If South Point doesn't going to play, they will have some. They will struggle, and it's also a look ahead spot. I think they've got Northwestern next week. I believe that ball game is at D3 Stadium, so it could be a look ahead for South Point. They're the better football team. Will they play that way? We'll see. But I do think the Stallions win.
We'll also see Bluffton go to James Island. Could be a tougher game for James Island, but they are very, very
They
good.
are. They certainly are. Quarterback Owen Beggs for Bluffton can put up some points here. I think James Island, that offense and defense is too tough right now. Coach McCoy's boys are rolling.
Catawba Ridge goes to Lancaster. Lawrence hosting Wade Hampton. Great news. Somebody's got to win that game. Richland Northeast will go to Lugoff Elgin. That's not good for
the
Demons.
Lugoff big win last week, John. Richland Northeast big win last week. Should be a fun one.
Maybe.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I know. Carleton County will go to May River. Talked about one of our CONA games of the week, Hartsville. I'm sorry. I saw Myrtle Beach and I got all wrapped up. Hartsville will go to North Myrtle Beach. Greenville goes to Pickens. Ridgeview hosting Westwood. Eastside at Riverside. Airport goes to South Aiken.
A couple rivalry games there. Eastside, Riverside, and Ridgeview Westwood, I believe, are both kind of rivalry matchups there.
Yeah, both of Blythewood schools. I'm not sure how that rivalry plays out right now with Ridgeview and Westwood. I know Ridgeview and Blythewood is a really, really big deal. How that's changed, I'm not too sure. Airport will go to South Aiken. Myrtle Beach at South Florence on one of our CONA games of the week. Greenwood will be at West Side. I'm going to keep an eye on this game.
Yes.
This game could be closer than expected. I think Greenwood might be better than what people are giving them credit for. We know West Side's pretty good, though.
Yeah, West Side, really good football team right now. Cutter Woods, Josh Williams, Roddy Richardson, all those guys, Jamar Boston as well. Greenwood has been, I would say, better than I thought they were going to be this year.
Yes.
They've lost a couple weird ones still, but they play some good football. That offense always tough, kind of the triple option wing T stuff. They do throw a little more than they have in the past. But that West Side defense is always scary, put it that way. And scary in a bad way for West Side, put it that way as well. I think West Side wins a bit. That is one to keep an eye on for sure in that region.
West Florence will go to Wilson, and Northwestern will be at York.
That's a fun game there. Kind of, York, a team we haven't talked a lot about it in 4A. They're playing good football, John. Winning a lot of games for Coach Boyd there. Northwestern, they are just on a roll right now, man. They are playing great ball for Coach Walford. Dion says Valley by 60. They certainly could.
I assume you mean Midland Valley.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about 14 could happen. Who got to the upstate? Irma Valley, Northwestern. I'm going to go Northwestern out of the upstate. Are those three all upstate? I'm not sure. I got to look at the brackets. I don't know for sure if I know Midland Valley goes upstate. I'm not sure if Irmo does or not this year. Check that and see. Zach says, John, Lugoff is like watching the Panthers play the NFL. Not good.
Hey, that is spot on.
Love it. Chris says Northwestern Irmo for state. You got to check on that Irmo region. I can't remember if that one goes up or down.
I'll take a look at it for you guys.
But I know Midland Valley does go up because they're in the same one as North Augusta and those guys, and they went up upper state last year. Perfect. Let's take a look now, John, at 3A.
3A, we'll see Hanahan go to Battery Creek. Fountain Inn will go to Belton Honey Path. Should be a good kind of a get all your bearings. Work anything out you want to work out if you're BHP this Friday.
Yeah, Courtney, your Bears are playing great football right now. Marquise Henderson last week in the first half, 3 carries, 3 touchdowns. I think he finished with 5 carries for the game. Just didn't have to do a whole lot in that win. They are playing really good, especially running the ball. The quarterback game, the passing game, is still a little bit worrisome to me, I would say. The defense as well has shown a few kinks here and there, but the run game is really, really solid. They won't be tested again until that Wren matchup in a few weeks, but BHP is playing great football. Courtney wants them to win state. They certainly could. They're a good football team. I think I picked them to go pretty deep early in the year, but we'll see. Obviously, a lot of good 3A teams, Daniel and Gilbert and Dylan, and tons of good 3A.
You're right there in the middle of it. Now we're going to get to another team here in 3A that I think has got a chance to have something to say about that. Blue Ridge at Carolina, but Chapman will be hosting Travelers Rest.
The Devil Dogs are hot. Big win last week for the Devil Dogs, John. But Chapman's playing really good football, man. I thought
hot is the word you used.
They won that.
They won a game. They won a game. Let's move on.
But Chapman, I talked to somebody last week who's played against him this year and said, again, was just reiterating how good Rashawn Cunningham is. That kid's a stud, making plays outside for those guys. He's a really good player. Obviously, the quarterback, Coleman Gray's a stud running and throwing the ball. Matthias Scott there at the running back spot. The defense has been solid, too. And don't forget, because sometimes I forget. So maybe you guys don't forget, but I forget it. Chapman beat Burns.
I didn't forget.
They beat them 17-14. They beat Burns early in the year. That's one of the more impressive wins in the state, honestly. If you're looking at just teams that are still really good but have that one loss, that one over Burns is as good as anybody's got in the state. It feels like.
I think that's number 1 from state on state schools.
Yeah,
I think you talk. Yeah. No, that's number 1.
Yeah, Chapman's playing great. That region's not super tough, so they're not going to have a lot of competition in the next few weeks. But Panthers are rolling for Coach Cab.
We'll have Emerald go to Chester. Daniel will be hosting Seneca.
Daniel continues to roll. Seneca, tough loss to Pendleton, kind of surprised me there. Daniel's going to smoke these guys. No offense to Seneca. Daniel's just that good. I think I saw Nathan had a stat in the chat, Drill. If you can pull that up if you got it. If not, no worries. But those guys are playing great football right now, running the ball, throwing the ball, defensively shutting everybody down. Yeah, Daniel going for the 50th all-time win against Seneca. 42nd straight regular season win and scored 30 or more, 56 straight games. That's nuts right there.
That is pretty incredible.
They are playing great football right now, as always, for Coach Frooster there. I think Daniel rolls again.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Crestwood will go to Darlington.
Crestwood still playing great. Maybe a look ahead spot. Camden next week on the horizon. John and Jarrell there.
Big.
Darlington getting better. I was surprised they got beat so bad by Camden last week. I thought it'd be a little more competitive. I think it was like 41-6. Thought it'd be a little closer spread there, but oh well. I think Crestwood wins again. Big game for Javion Martin, as always, feels like.
I think so too. But yes, Darlington, they have improved over what they have been. So something they can hold their heads up high about that. Brooklyn Casey will be at Dreer. Loris goes to Georgetown. Lower Richland hosting Swansea. Dillon at Manning.
Fun game there. Reggie Kennedy's Monarch squad doesn't get talked about a whole lot because that region is, Dillon's, and it felt like it has been for the last, I don't know how many years Dillon's been playing football almost. Obviously the region's changed, but yeah, those guys are legit there for Coach Roller. Oxendine and Fling and McCallum and those guys are just getting it done offensively. They're getting better and better. I think it feel like every week the defense is playing great football as well. The offensive line, Josiah Thompson's a stud there for them. Marlboro County, though, they got some players. I think Dre Mitchell maybe had 4 touchdowns last week. I think 2 passing, a rushing, and a kickoff return touchdown, I think, for the quarterbacks. That's pretty cool to see there. They can score points, but I don't think it's quite enough to beat Dillon.
Yeah, I think Manning's a good team, and they'll be they should be competitive in the playoffs as well. But I think Dillon wins this one probably by 10-14. Lakewood will go to Marlboro County. Philip Simmons will be at North Charleston. Gilbert goes to Orangeburg Wilkinson. Wren is at Palmetto. Pendleton hosting Crescent. Southside High School goes to Powdersville. Ainer will go to Waccamaw. West Oak goes to Walhalla. And Woodruff will host Clinton.
Clinton needs a big bounce back. Had a week off to get a little bit healthier. I think they get a win over Woodruff, who won a last-second ball game last week there. And I know we mentioned Gilbert earlier. Got some good stuff coming out for you guys, you Gilbert fans here, probably first and next week. Working on getting someone to set up with Coach Leapart, trying to get our schedules worked out. Love to chat with him. But Gilbert playing great football, but they should win easily over OW this week. Drew, any more 3A comments in the chat? Can Manning take Dillon down? They certainly can.
Yeah.
They do have the talent to do so. It's going to be tough. Dillon, last week they played Ainer, who tends to give them a hard time, sometimes just because of the offense they run. They're one of the few programs that thinks that they can hang with Dillon. A lot of times you go in a game against those guys, you're already beat. There's only you can do it. They think they can do it. They weren't able to. It got kind of out of hand pretty quick. But, man, like I said, Dre Mitchell there, Jalen Cord, all-region nose tackle for those guys. Tristan Tim's a good player. Too much Dillon this week.
Hey, you got to play the game, though, right?
Yep.
You got to play the game.
RJ says Chapman by a bunch. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Clinton should have everybody back. Yeah, that's huge.
Okay.
I mean, getting that bye week was at a great time for you guys. You needed to get some guys back. Glad to have them back for the Red Devils. Cunningham played on Saturdays. Yeah, Rashawn Cunningham's a stud, man, for sure. Of course, watch out for Philip Simmons. Yeah, Jarrell saw them firsthand 2 weeks ago. The Iron Horses are a good football team. Ryan says Crestwood should run away. They are. They're playing great. Yeah, they smoked Marlboro County last week. I mean, not even close. They're playing really good right now for Coach Nelson.
Oh, that'd be good.
Jay, if you go to
Good
Dillon
idea.
Manning, definitely keep us updated, man. That'd be a great ball game to see and get some updates from. Courtney says, can we see BHP Daniel in the upstate? For sure. I mean,
Very
those two are, two of the better teams. A couple guys, like we said earlier, Clinton will be there. They'll have something to say about it, a few other guys as well. But those are 2 premier 3A programs, especially in the upper state. Okay, Chris says,
Okay.
is going lower state. Yeah, I thought so with the bracket, but I wasn't sure. So the Yellow Jacks will be in that lower state bracket in 4A.
Yes, so then you got if you talk about upper state 4A, then I think that's what the question was before. It could be. Gosh, I don't know if South Point will get there or not, but they could be the next best team in the upper state.
Yeah, you got Northwestern, South Point. Obviously, people talk West Side's playing great football right now. Greenville's got the talent that they can get it put together. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Midland Valley. I mean, that whole region, Midland Valley, is so tough right now. North Augusta's playing great. South Aiken's playing better, and with their dynamic athletes, they could go on a run. So we'll see when the playoffs roll around.
Yeah, I actually looked at that bracket, guys. That's the uneven one. That's why it's messed up. They only have 7 regions in 4A, so
Gotcha.
It breaks down. In lower state, you get a bunch of at large bids there. So
A lot of
that's
good
how it
teams in
goes.
lower state. That's gonna be, and that's one of the maybe the classification. Well, I don't know. You can make the case for a couple others, but where lower state's a little bit stronger than upper state, I think.
Yeah, don't sleep on Greenville for sure. See, they had guys out for a while, getting healthy now.
as much talent as anybody in the state, too.
Yeah, they will be a tough out for sure in the playoffs.
All right, let's keep rolling, guys.
Perfect. Let's look now down at 2A, John.
2A schedule. One of our CONA games of the week. Woodland going to Hampton County. Big time game there. Green Sea Floyds will go to Mullins. Batesburg Leesville hosting Fox Creek. 96 will be at Liberty.
That's a pick-em matchup. Two teams that are pretty, I think, 6-1, 96. They've lost one ball game. I think Liberty's only lost a couple as well. The Red Devils. So I couldn't think of their name. I was thinking Liberty Flames. That's a college team. The Red Devils here at Liberty playing good too. Coach Bennett's 96 squad, though, is running the ball. Braden Mitchell was back last week after a 6-week absence due to injury. Played really good, 300-plus all-purpose yards there. I think 96 wins again.
Abbeville will go to Landrum. Chesterfield hosting Buford. Fairfield Central will host Columbia. Bishop England hosting First Baptist. Sherrall will host North Central. Andrew Jackson hosting Central of Pageland. Oceanside will host Academic Magnet. Chesney hosting Blacksburg. King Street at home against Andrews. Barnwell playing at home against Ridgeland Hardyville.
Yeah, I think Barnwell wins that ball game. Ridgeland Hardyville, not great this year. I think Barnwell's starting to get right. I think they win that ball game there. And then also that King Street Andrews matchup, probably for number 2 in that region. Both teams already lost to Marion, but you're still playing for a home playoff game. You want to get that win there in 2A and set up a home matchup.
Yeah, that'll be a really big deal. Keenan, they will be hosting Eau Claire. Lee Central hosting Marion. Lake Marion will go to Timberland. I think you're right, Corey.
Corey, I think Marion wins that.
Super close.
Wins as much as they want. Yeah, Quashie Scott, big game. Tyshawn Sanders and those guys. They Gabe Cusack putting up big numbers. That they are loaded. The Swamp Foxes are.
Big time game here. Saluda hosting Silver Bluff. See if Saluda can get off the mat. Speaking of Saluda, Strom Thurmond will play at Pelion. That game on Thursday currently is the schedule for that.
Yeah, Strom Thurmond super impressive last week down there at the Peach Fields, man. They played some great football, both sides of the ball, really. Saluda Silver Bluff. Silver Bluff, a team that we saw earlier in the year lose to Midland Valley. No shame there. It's a 4A squad, but they beat some bigger teams. I think they beat Socastee already. Beat a couple. I think they beat South Aiken, I believe, as well. Silver Bluff did. They're playing for football for Coach Bryant. Saluda, John, I'm not sure what to make of them. We saw them play Gilbert, 3 weeks ago now. Obviously, that game ended kind of weird, but they were in it. They played great football. They were in it. They had a real chance, I feel like, to continue that ball game. The Saluda that we saw Friday night in Week 7, not the same football team. Just could not do anything on offense. Couldn't really get it going. I know they had some injuries, especially at DB, which hurt them against a team like Strom Thurmond that can throw it around so much. Saluda's got to have this game, but I think Silver Bluff wins it.
I think so, too. I think just as much juice that goes into that Saluda Strom Thurmond game, and then for it to go the way that it did, I think you're really asking a lot of Saluda to come back and be able to be a really, really good Silver Bluff team Friday. And that's just tough. That's a tough region. It's tough that you got to play those two back to back, but that's the way it goes. I think Silver Bluff wins this game, too.
I think so, too. I do want to give a quick shout-out, though, to our friends down there at Strom Thurmond, man. Great to see everybody. Got to talk to Bulldog Brooks. Appreciate you, man, being down there. Cam behind the cam, Kurt in the game. Nice. Russell from the Edgefield Touchdown Club. Great talking to him. Our buddy Reese Lowe, the ball boy for Strom Thurmond. Appreciate you being there, Reese. It was great talking to you, man, as always. Really good crowd down there. Appreciate Coach Webb and Braylon Staley giving us interviews after the game. That was fun to talk to those guys as well. So great trip down to the Peach Fields for sure. Drell, any more comments on 2A? Barnwell wins by 12. Correct. I can certainly see. I think they might win more than that. We'll see. Of course, Mullins should beat Green Sea. Mullins needs a win, man. Have not won a ball game yet. Yeah. Hopefully, this is the week. We'll see. Deion says Revs by 40. Certainly could happen. Their football team there. Zach said it's great playing anyone. I don't think they have a game this week. Do they?
They were supposed to be going to Newberry.
Yes.
I don't think that game is happening.
I don't think they have one this week. If we do see that, we will post that out on our social media platforms. Sometimes they announce a little bit late, but I don't think they have a ball game this Friday night. Anything else in 2A, Jarrell?
Let's roll to 1A, guys.
Looking down at 1A now, John.
We'll have Burt going to Baptist Hill. Bethune-Bowman hosting Bamberg-Earhart. McBee goes to C.A. Johnson. Blackville-Hilda going to Calhoun County.
That's a fun game there. We talk about Coach Jones' squad every week at Blackville-Hilda. The Fighting Hawks with Jaquel Holman are really getting it done now, playing great football, really physical, smash mouth, running the ball over teams. Calhoun County, Christian Zachary, recent NC State commit, decommitted from Virginia, committed to NC State. They can get it going. They throw it around a little bit more than what Blackville-Hilda does. But I tell you what, I've been riding this Blackfield Hill train for a while, man. They're playing great football now. They beat that HKT team that beat Calhoun County. I think the Fighting Hawks win again this Friday.
I think so too. And 1A has been great this year. There's been a handful of teams that have been really good. I think when the playoffs roll around for 1A, it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, that's a poll that we could certainly go 15 deep in, I feel like almost.
Yeah. Scotch Branch will be at Carver's Bay. Military Magnet going to Cross. Christchurch will be at Dixie. Branchville going to Estill.
Not anymore. They're not. I don't know who they're playing this week, but Branchville's playing Patrick Henry. I do know that, actually.
Okay.
SCISA matchup.
Okay. Louisville will go to Great Falls.
Louisville might get that shutout streak going again. No offense to Great Falls, but Louisville's really good. Off a week off as well, John.
Yeah.
Coach Buller's boys will be foaming at the mouth to get on the field again, I'm sure.
Yeah, they are. Denmark Olar will be at Hunter or Tyler. Good football game here.
That is. Denmark Olar, a team that had the big win against Bamberg, really underachieved since then, it feels like. HKT had the one loss a couple weeks ago to Blackfield Hilda. Played good besides that. I think Denmark Olar might win this game, too. I know they're getting healthy, it sounded like, from Terrence we talked to, I believe it was. I think the Vikings win this one.
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go Hunter or Tyler. East Clarendon will go to Johnsonville.
I don't know what I'm going to say. Johnsonville, a couple weird losses. The Latta lost, the North Central lost. They're still a good football team. We talked Malik Shippey and what Coach Cribb does there for those guys. They are a solid squad. Need to get going and just get hot for the playoffs, and we'll just see what happens.
Yep. Get in, and then you can get hot there. Hanna Pamplico will go to Lamar.
Lamar playing great football. Zori Pierce back, and just the fact the quarterback's back and the fact they're actually playing 1A teams now obviously has helped the Silver Foxes a lot. It's tough for them, tough scheduling, of course. Hanna Pamplico, I did hear this, have not been able to confirm. I think they're starting running back and quarterback have been out now for a few weeks, so that will kind of explain their fall lately there for the Raiders. But Lamar playing great football. I think they win again.
I think so too. Now, probably the game of the week. Well, arguably.
Yep.
The Lakeview going to Latta. This is a really big game here. A
game that we talked about being one of our games of the week. Not sure if Derek and Justin are still here now, but this is a big ball game. Latta, their one loss to Lamar by 7 a couple weeks ago. Lakeview, their one loss to Marion back in week 0. Two teams playing really good football. Lakeview, we had heard before the year was kind of a year away, a really young team, but they have not played like that. They have played great this year. The Hurlong kid, the Foxworth kid, and those guys getting it done. Latta, Jamarian Jones putting up huge numbers rushing the ball there. And Latta at home, too, is tough. LeBron Cobb there, Cantrell, Cartrell, Townsend, the defensive players, stud there for those guys as well for Coach Eisman's squad. This is a game where Latta might be the better football team this year, John.
I agree with that.
But I will say this, growing up in the area, Latta, Lakeview, one of them has always been kind of the big brother. One's always been kind of the little brother.
Yeah.
And you wonder if Latta, if they are able to get over that hump mentally, almost you would say, you know?
Yeah.
And no offense to Latta, they're a great football team, had a lot of really good success. I mean, not in football compared to Lakeview, I would say. And the Gators, they expect to win a lot of these football games. I think Lakeview wins this one. I think it's a close one, though. I think the Lakeview Wild Gators win a close ball game on the road at Latta.
I'm going to go Latta in a very close one.
I like it.
I think, they have one big play go for Lamar. One big play for Lamar. I think maybe as a kick return.
A muffed punt that Lamar ends up scoring with.
Yeah. Yep. If Latta doesn't have something like that happen, I think they win the game. Now, if something like that does happen, then you're going to be able to eat all your cake on Saturday or Sunday going, well, Lakeview, that's what they do in these games.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one though for sure. I've been really impressed with Latta. I mean, I think even if they lose this ball game, they will be a really, really tough threat, tough out in the playoffs for anybody. But I'm going Lakeview in a tight one here.
We'll see. Southside Christian will host McCormick. Rich Spring Minetta goes to Wagner Sally. Calhoun Falls going to Ware Shoals. Allendale Fairfax will be at Whale Branch.
Whale Branch, we hadn't talked a lot about, but they're playing really good football right now.
Yeah,
continuing to win.
I believe they're still undefeated. I think that they were off last week, did not play. So
I believe you're right.
They will be should be fresh and ready to go for this one. I like Whale Branch.
Allendale Fairfax, not a bad team. They beat I I believe it was Denmark a few weeks ago to kind of start them on that downward trend. If I'm correct, I may be mixing it up. They had a big win, one of our teams of the week a few weeks back. Allen Fairfax is a good football team, but I like Well Branch a lot.
And then to close out 1A, you got Williston Elko playing at Whitmire.
Perfect. Any comments here? We got Darian says, not overlooking anybody. Playoff ready. Yeah, for sure. Louisville, man. Can't wait to see some of these upper state 1A matchups. Got some rain coming. Yeah, we did see some games. I know South Aiken's playing on Thursday already. I saw a couple others as well getting moved up. Yeah, so we should see how many of those guys do that. It might be a week where we can catch 2 ball games. We'll see how that goes. Blackbeard Hilda by a touchdown, says Ryan. Derek's getting on you, John. Come on, man. Come on.
I know it's a little bit of an upset pick. I know, and I'll take that.
Yeah, we'll just wait till our ladder friends get in here and start giving me the hard time.
Yeah.
What was that last comment, John, from Drill?
It was a misclick, so we'll just keep rolling. You're gonna make some people mad. I think you guys are gonna be on opposite ends of the spectrum. We just went Big Bro, Little Bro by Kevin. And then John making the upset pick. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Derek, you're from Lakeview. You know what I'm talking about, man. I'm speaking the truth. Like, I mean, especially in football. Maybe not basketball. I'll give him that. Raymond Felton.
What about baseball?
Lakeview. It's back to Lakeview again.
Man, there's going to be some mad Vikings in here.
I know one specifically that's going to be really upset with you guys.
I love it. Any more comments there, Jarrell?
Let's roll to SCISA, guys.
Perfect. A quick look at the SCISA slate. We've got Andrew Jackson going to Jefferson Davis. Cardinal Newman, tough loss last week to Hammond John. He came in the military, should bounce back with a big win against those guys. Pinewood Prep continues to flex their muscle. They go down to Hilton Head Prep this week.
They woke up.
They certainly did. Bethesda going to Northside Christian. John Paul II going to Northwood Academy. Clarendon Academy going to Kings. Lee Academy going to Dillon Christian. Dillon Christian, first-year coach Donnell Stanley, playing good football under him. You know, the Cavs are playing really good. They're 5-2 right now. Head coach David Rankin doing a great job. Always a solid squad for those guys. Andrew Bowers at quarterback. Deshaun Haddon, Bryson Mojo running the rock there for them. Had to replace a lot up front this year, but they're starting to gel a little bit. Wilkes and Boyce on defense. Last week against Calhoun, they held that team to 3.5 yards per carry. That's pretty solid. But Jackson Outlaw from Dillon Christian, 5 TDs last week for the Warriors. Who do you like in this ballgame? Can Dillon Christian pull an upset, or do you like the Cavs?
I like Dillon Christian. I know Robert Ely should probably win. Probably the better team. But I like Dillon Christian. They're at home. And I'm a big Donnell Stanley fan. Former Gamecock. He's played big-time football. He's from the area. He's
Ladder Viking.
He's a Ladder Viking. If he was here, he would be yelling at Kev right now. That would be. I like him a lot. I'm going to go with the home team, Dillon Christian, upset.
Love it. I'm going with Lee Academy to win that ballgame, run their record to 6-2. Lawrence Manning, big one reporter. Last week ran off 23 points in a row. They get Augusta Christian this ballgame. Colin Prep at Carolina Academy. St. John's at Cross Episcopal. Patrick Henry, they go to Branchville, like I mentioned there. They get a public school this week. Wardlaw going to Newberry Academy. Faith Christian going to Holy Trinity. PD Academy goes to Hilton Head Christian. Usually a really good ballgame between these two teams. The playoffs a lot lately. PD a little bit down right now. Hadn't got it figured out. Hilton Head Christian playing great football. They've turned it around. I think they've won 5 in a row. I think Hilton Head Christian wins this ballgame too. But always a fun matchup. It feels like when those two get together. King Academy going to Lawrence. Orangeburg Prep going to Williamsburg. A fun dynamic here. Last year, Williamsburg state title winners. Head coach Don Shelley goes to Orangeburg Prep now. Coaching Orangeburg Prep there. I think Williamsburg, too much talent. I think they win this ballgame.
Yeah. You got Teague Ward and Camden Moore there. I agree with you. Like Williamsburg at home.
Florence Christian at Wilson Hall. Wilson Hall rolling right now in 3A. Trinity Collegiate goes to Hammond. Hammond flexed their muscle last week, man.
That was very impressive.
Held control of that ballgame all game long against Cardinal Newman. Big win there for the Skyhawks and Coach Wheeler's team. You mentioned this earlier. First Baptist going to Bishop England. This game, I think, was rescheduled from earlier in the year. Had a tragedy at Bishop England, had to cancel that day. They're playing now this Friday night there. Another kind of going back home game here. Buford Academy at Thomas Hayward. Head coach Shuford there at Buford Academy came over from Thomas Hayward last year, won all those state titles. I think Buford's a better football team. They win this ball game.
I like that too.
Oakbrook Prep at Richard Wynn. Richard Wynn's a threatened 8-man for sure. They may be one of the top. We'll see in our poll here in a minute. But they're one of the better teams in 8-man for sure. We mentioned this game. The game of the week, Dorchester at Clarendon Hall, and Thomas Sumter at Spartanburg Christian rounds out the SCISA slate. Any other comments here from Jarrell from the chat, Jarrell, before we move into the next portion of the show.
Or
Why no? Why no? I don't have any comments at the moment.
Yeah, any comments from you, Jarrell?
Yeah, you want to make anybody mad tonight?
No, that's not my forte. I like to stick in the shadows. So
we got any more Lakeview Ladder fans backing us up or giving us hate in the chat, or are we good right now?
Derek's got you, man.
Hey, for sure. You can't overlook them, no doubt about it. Big rivalry game as always, but Lakeview has had the upper hand, it feels like lately. But let's give a quick shout-out to our friends of the program, Jarrell. Then we'll look at our polls for Week 8.
Take your financial game to the next level with Founders Federal Credit Union. Reach your full potential. Relax. Join Founders today. Visit an office near you or relaxjoinfounders.com to apply. Federally insured by NCUA, member qualification required.
The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Myrtle's Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net. Okay, Jarrell and John, we've been working this the last couple of years. I guess we started doing it last year. We did our own poll.
Yeah.
We didn't like the other ones that come out sometimes. Didn't like the way they came about them, so we decided to do our own. So, Jarrell, let's pop up our poll. Do you want to go lower class to high class? Which way you want to go? Dealer's choice there tonight for you. 5A, 4A. We got 5A. Oh, we got no receiving votes on either one of these two, John. We got
I like it.
Somerville first, Burns second, Hillcrest, White Knoll tie for third there, and Gaffney in that fifth slot. In 4A, Northwestern, South Florence, James Island, Irmo, Midland Valley. 5A felt pretty clean cut to me. Obviously, we all had the same teams there. I thought about putting TL Hanna in there. Nice win last week.
Yeah.
If they win this week, they certainly will be in there. But I think we're kind of all obviously in agreement there on that 5A ranking.
Yeah, I had to put White Knoll in there. I thought that was an impressive win. They're undefeated. For me, I think undefeated says a lot. You deserve to be in there, especially when you beat somebody like Dutch Fork too. So I put them in there. But I don't know if they're better than anyone else in that top 5 at this point in time.
Yeah.
But that can all change.
Chris said take Gaffney down. You guys keep winning. Big win over Spartanburg last week, Chris. We can't take you guys out.
Impressed.
Come on. And then 4A, the same thing. I was surprised we all had the same teams in 4A because 4A is very deep. Someone was overrated, says King. Hey, we'll see. They play Fort D in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
They haven't played the toughest schedule. I mean, it's just because there's not a lot of big 5A teams down there. See how that goes. Chad says go Fort D. Fort D playing good football. A couple losses to Gaffney and Grayson and those guys, but they'll get a chance to get Somerville here in a few weeks to prove it. But they're certainly a good football team.
And if Somerville is overrated, that will show in the playoffs pretty quickly. And like you said, it might show when they play Fort Dorchester here.
Like I said in 4A, kind of surprised with all the same teams there. I thought we might get a West Side vote in there. Thought we might get a Myrtle Beach vote possibly as well. A couple teams I thought might slide in, but we all settled with the same ones. Good to see Midland Valley finally in there as well. They didn't get any votes from us for a while, but they've climbed into our top 5.
Yeah, for Midland Valley, they were a new one for me. I've almost been given South Point. Maybe I thought I was giving them a little too much credit for really a loss at the reservation.
Yeah.
But them having a really tight game with a Lancaster team that's not great in Midland Valley continuing to roll. I think Midland Valley is still undefeated, right?
They are.
So that's why I said, well, they're undefeated. South Point isn't. I'm switching these guys out of here.
I like it. Drill, any comments on your 4 and 5A or this one here? King says Burns going to smash Gaffney in the region championship. That will be something. Always a fun ball game. I think last year those two met up twice, regular season and playoffs. Can't wait to see that one here to end the season.
That's going to be great.
The big thing for me is I just can't believe that we all had the same teams.
Same.
in 2 classifications. Like that just made
5A,
no sense
I can understand it. 4A, I did not see that coming.
I think like John said, man, Midland Valley, it was time. We had to put some respect on those guys. We saw them early in the season, and they've just been dominant this year. Yeah. Like 7-0 dominant. They haven't played probably the highest grade of, competition like these other guys. And, I was kind of valuing those schedules early on, but they've taken care of business, much like Irmo. I think Irmo's the same way. Then they just completely dominated this year, and that's why, we have a 4A poll that looks like that.
And James Island, too.
Yeah, huge win for Irmo. Irmo played game of the week for us last week against Ridgeview. Blew them out. Non-competitive ball game there. Irmo looks really good. Jarrell, come back on the screen for a second, Jarrell, if you can. No, you come back on the screen.
I'm back.
Look
I'm
at this
back.
hat Drill's wearing, guys. Get you some Moving the Chains merch.
Look
Look
at
at that great hat there. Check us out. Get your merch and support the voice for sure. But okay, we can look now down at the 3A, 2A, 1A poll, Drill. In 3A, split first place votes. The only class we have that. We got BHP with 2 first place votes. Actually tied with Daniel, though, with the way the points work out now. Tie for first, BHP and Daniel. Tie for third, Dylan Phillips Simmons. 5th place, Crestwood. Also receiving votes, Broome and Chapman. Guys, we got 7 teams getting votes in our 3A poll. Could have gone more because we don't see Gilbert in there. I mean,
you don't see Clinton there.
Clinton's not in there yet. Beaufort's not in there. I mean, this poll, we could have gone 10 deep for sure.
Those are 7 really
that's
good
a tough
teams
one.
right
That's
there.
a tough poll right there. In 2A, Gray Collegiate still at 1, Oceanside at 2, tie for third, Abbeville and Strom Thurmond, 5th place, Silver Bluff, also receiving votes, Marion right now in 2A. 2A, it's a tough one because I feel like I have a good handle on it some weeks. In other weeks, I feel like I have no idea what's going on. I was really high on both Gray and Oceanside for a long time, and I still am right now. But I feel like maybe it's the fact we haven't seen Gray play in-state games, hard to see them much. And then Oceanside's region kind of hurts them. They don't have a tough region. So it's hard to see much about those guys. Corey, I did not take Marion off. Corey, that was some of the other boys in the chat. We'll put it that way. Marion's a good football team. We don't see Hampton County on there, who's been on there for a while. They didn't do anything wrong. Just got a lot of really good 2A teams. Strom Thurmond jumped up in the poll a lot this week after their big win. Saluta's been in there. That they're off now. 2A is a really deep class as well. And I'm not sure if I have a good grip on 2A, really.
Yeah, I mean, I 2 weeks ago, I was sitting here saying, hey, Saluda is still really, really good after that Gilbert game. Hey, Saluda is really, really good. Hey, I was one of the first ones they'll admit I did not see them getting beat 48-3.
Same.
Chester, very
in
good
3A.
as well.
Another team we could put in 3A. Exactly right, MJ.
Yeah.
Great point.
But I mean, I had to give the respect to Strom Thurmond after what they did Friday. So they entered my 2A poll. I think that's what bumped me.
I gotta throw this one up there first.
We're the Abbeville fans. Hey, we've got them top 3, Corey. Not sure where there's Tom. So got to keep it quiet. In Abbeville, we know they're going to be there at the end like they always are. They played a couple odd games earlier. They came back to win a couple games late, but didn't play good the first half. And then they hadn't put really a full game together, it feels like. But we know Coach Nichols' squad's going to be ready when the playoffs roll around. Looking down at 1A, Louisville still holding that first spot. Tie for second, Bamberg Earhart and Southside Christian. 4th, Christ Church. And 5th, Blackville Hilda. They're in our poll now. And 5th, I don't think they were for a while there. Also receiving votes, Whale Branch. Another class that could have gone 10 deep. We got Lamar, Latta, Lakeview, HKT, Calhoun County. Some really good football teams that got left out. St. Joseph's as well.
Yeah. Cross is playing good ball right now.
Cross playing great football right now as well. Hard to go against what Louisville's done. They've been so impressive. The lone loss to Oceanside in week 0, played really good since then. And defense has been basically can't even score on those guys. I mean, they're legit, still scoring 50, 60 plus, of course, with Grissom and Robinson and, and Howes and just all those guys there. Drill, any comments from the chat or from you on 1A, 2A, 3A?
Nothing from the chat right now. Man, it's just so hard ranking these teams, especially 3, 2, 1. Like you both said, we could go 10, 15 deep. I love the fact that we keep it at 5, though. Puts the pressure on.
Yeah, makes it tough.
And it's always changing. Like you were saying, like a Hampton County's been in our poll, a staple in our poll all year. They're not in there anymore. Marion's been in there all year, not anymore because that huge performance by Strom Thurmond, you got to put him up there. You got to respect him. So it's been a lot of fun.
Like you said, Marion done nothing wrong. The last 2 weeks, they beat a good King Street. Yeah, good King Street team, blew them out, shut them out. Beat a good Andrews team 2 weeks ago. I mean, they dropped the poll. I mean, it's just a lot of good teams right now in South Carolina, especially in 2A. Perfect. Derek says, under the radar for Lakeview. Hey, if they win this week, Derek, they might be in the poll. And I'm not making any promises, but they might have to be in there. Good to see 3 of the top 5 are in public schools. Yeah. Hey, for right now, Corey, we'll see how the next few weeks go here. We'll get some more of those private school matchups here. We'll see how those turn out in 1A for sure. But
speaking of private schools, that was perfect. Let's look at the SCISA poll.
SCISA poll, 4A. no change at the top. Hammond, Cardinal, Newman. Lawrence Manning jumps up a little bit. So does Ben Lippin. Porter-Gaud falls down after their tough loss there. I think that's pretty straightforward in 4A. 3A, Wilson Hall continues to lead the way. Hilton Head Christian, Pinewood Prep, Florence Christian, Northwood Academy. I feel like in 3A, guys, it's very top-heavy. I like those first three. After that, it's a struggle to find a good fourth and fifth spot, I feel like, they're in 3A. Looking down now at 2A, Williamsburg continues to lead the way after the big win over Beaufort last week. Bethesda in third, Colin Prep fourth, Greenwood Christian in fourth. 1A, Thomas Hayward. Dorchester makes a big jump up. Thomas Hayward, the new number one after Patrick Henry's loss. So they dropped to 3 there. Lee Academy fourth, Crowden Hall fifth. 8-man, Jefferson Davis, Holly Hill, Richard Wynn, Warlaw, Holy Trinity. In 8-man, same thing. Those 3 up top are really, really good. After that, a bit of a drop-off. But I like either one of those 3 teams at the top. They could all win state, I feel like, guys. I want to take a look now at our pick'em, Jarrell, from week 7. How about this? A 6-way tie for first place last week, guys. We got Andrew, Corey, Peyton, Coach T, Corey, and Zach, all with a 10 spot. I think that might be back-to-back 10s for Coach T, actually, as well. So hats off to him. A lot of folks with 9, PK, Richard, Brad, Alex, David, and Peyton. Also AG with 9. Then 18 folks with 8. Jarrell led us with 9. I had 8. John had 7. A fun week. I was looking to pick them. Couple games that got me, of course, but still a lot of fun in week 7. Pick 'em brought to you by Hanna Engineering, as always. The overall leaderboard is getting close here, guys. We got 3 weeks left in the regular season. Pick 'em. We got Chase H at 59, Brad and Dale at 58, Peyton and JD at 56, a group at 55, group at 54 as well. I'm at 56, Drill's at 54, John at 52. But we got some action left here, guys. A couple weeks left. Anything could happen. Don't forget those lowest weeks are getting dropped now, too. That could change it all in just a week. If somebody does something real bad or real good, it could flip the whole thing on its head. But if you guys hadn't done that yet, it's our pick 'em brought to you by Hanna Engineering. We post it on our social media each week. We do 11 games each week. Let everybody be a part of it. It's a lot of fun to do. We'll do another one for the playoffs as well here starting in a few weeks. Super fun. It gives you a reason to watch teams from across the state and not just your team every Friday night, just take you up with everything. So it's really cool to do. Really enjoy doing that. Love having you guys pop in there and join us for that. Do want to give a shout out to our players of the week. Brought to you by the Georgia A's. We had Derek Sally Jr. at Ashley Ridge, huge game last week. Katie Patterson at TL Hanna, like I said, 6 touchdowns for him. And then Will Wilson at Richland Northeast, 300-plus passing, 100-plus rushing. Huge game for him in that big win over AC Flora. Appreciate the Georgia AC, as always, for helping us out with that. Appreciate Hanna Engineering helping us out with the pick'em as well.
Hey, Kev, before you keep going, Will Wilson might be our first back-to-back player of the week. Who do they have on the schedule?
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully he only plays one half of football and takes the rest of the night off.
Richland Northeast will travel to Lugoff Elgin in case you guys missed that earlier in the show. So we'll see how that ball game goes for the Cavs and the Demons. But any more comments, Jarrell, need to throw on in here right quick?
No, I think we're good for the rest of the show, man. You guys killed it again.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, if you haven't watched us before, check us out every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock here on Facebook and YouTube. We do our live preview show. Like this video, share, tell your friends. Follow us on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains, MOVINCHAINS. MovinChains.com is our website. Podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. We do our recap show, comes out on Sundays on those podcast platforms. Our scoreboard show, Friday nights about 10:30, 11 on Twitter/X, our Friday Night Spaces. It's a lot of fun to do that. We have folks from across the state hopping in, giving us scores, giving us feedback. We got play-by-play guys hopping in, coaches hopping in, fans hopping in. Definitely hope you guys join us. We got folks from like literally every corner. We got Greenwood, we got Camden, we got Clinton, we got BHP, we got Fort Dorchester. All the schools in the Midlands. Irmo hopping in with us, Northwestern hopping in with us. Hopefully you guys can join us for that. Brad says, Gaffney, any players of the week this year? Not yet. They have some nominations. A couple big games out of Jaden McDowell and Amazing Little John and those guys. No winners yet, but certainly some nominations that we shouted out on Twitter and on our platform, our podcast. Excuse me there. Anything else I'm missing, guys? We need to shout out before we wrap up for the show.
I want to give a shout out to Kurt and Tony for tuning in from Oklahoma. That's pretty cool to see.
Appreciate you guys. Cool. That is also hope you join us each and every week. I do want to shout out again our merch. ntcgear.sc@gmail.com. Email us with your questions, your orders. We have the toboggans, the beanies. We got Richardson hats. We got Yupong hats. We got some hoodies back here. Logo on the back, really cool stuff. Logo on the front. The images are on our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram. Join us. Love to see you guys repping the gear across the state. It's been really nice and neat to meet so many folks this year, man. You know, like I said, Drell and I were at Strong Thurman last week. Met tons of great folks. I talked to coaches, talked to fans. Everybody, it was awesome. I met a guy, Jalen. If you're in here, I don't know. I met Jalen at the Zaxby's in Newberry 2 weeks ago. Great to meet Jalen. That was awesome, man. John and I had lunch, and we met Paul Sanders a couple weeks ago there at lunch. It's really neat to have you guys come up and chat with us. Love to see you guys at a ball game this Friday night. Not sure where we're going yet with the games getting moved. We may catch 2 games. We'll see what happens on Thursday as well. Drill, any final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
No, man, just thank everybody. Like you said, I can't say it any better. Appreciate everybody tuning in and love meeting people like we've been able to do the last few weeks. It's been a lot of fun, and just thank y'all so much for your support.
John, anything from you?
I love all of it. I love all of it.
Love it, love it, love it. I do see Courtney says, ask about her cousin, Marquise Henderson. Player of the week a couple weeks back. He's been a stud all year long. He continues to roll, one of the best players in the state. Can't wait to see how many offers he gets here in the next few weeks. But as always, Moving the Chains brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. For Drell Hendricks and John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our Week 8 preview show for South Carolina High School football. We will catch you guys soon.